Onegaishimasu. To start with Zazen. Settle the body, relax the muscles. Let the skeleton carry your weight, not the muscles. But our mind has to make the skeleton very tall and open. So we use our awareness and our intention to align the skeleton, to make it tall and open. And then we decide to relax the muscles, including the abdomen, release the abdomen so it breathes here, not just uptight here, but now nice and soft down here. The breath movement. Eyes softly gazing at a slight angle down. Each out breath is a releasing breath. See how much you can relax on each out breath. Good. Okay, Senpai, why don't you, as a group, lead us in some warm-ups? So, Senpai Titus, once you come forward first. And Senpai Titus, if you lead us in 2 different movements. Dozo. Want those knees bent, right? Okay. Arigato, Senpai. Okay, Senpai Odin, if you'll come forward, please. Onegaishimasu. Domo arigato, Senpai. Okay, Senpai Seiler. Onegaishimasu. Good. We haven't done this one in a long time. Arigato, Senpai. Okay, so a little bit more. Let's actually roll the shoulders. I want to make sure we're warmed up before our palm heel strikes. Other way. And let's arch back to the back corner. Stretch equally through both arms. Good. Heels close. Just make some big hip circles. And see how big you can make them. Another way, you can start small, and then each one gets a little bit bigger until you're touching the walls on all sides with your hips. Okay, let's do a little stretch here. The feet are pointing forward, push the hips forward, a big arch back. And forward, touch down, stretch the back of the leg. Down on the knee, push the hips forward. And arch from here. And then straighten that leg for another stretch on the back of that leg. Then foot down, drop down on the inside of that leg. And then roll forward on that foot. Drop down. And then arch from there. Good. Coming up, other side. Push the hips forward for a nice arch. Don't hold your breath. Breathe the whole time. Send your hands forward and down. Stretch the back of the leg. Down on the knee, push the hips forward. And arch from there. Don't hold your breath. Okay, extend that leg out, stretch it again. And then down on the inside of that leg. Roll forward, down into that hip. If this is really easy for you, if that's a real easy stretch for you, what you do is you press that foot up, you move it up away from you, and you'll get a bigger stretch in the hip. And up for the arch. Good. Okay, horse stance. Start basic palm heel strikes, basic drill. So that's from the horse stance. Nice and low. So the horse stance is not a fighting stance or a ready stance, of course, because this is way too open and I'm not very mobile. But we use the horse stance to develop the strength of our legs and to emphasize the use of the legs and the turning of the hips. So it builds leg strength and really working using the weight shift, using the leg, pressing it to the ground and turning the hips. Now, even as I shift my weight one way and turn my hips that way, I'm not punching over there. I'm punching straight forward. So I'm using all this energy and force, and I'm aiming it, directing it right in front. So when you do the palm heel strike, aim for under the height of your own head, under the chin, or under the nose. And just a quick review. And Senpai, this is review for you. I know you know it. We don't want to lock the elbow. But we also, so it's bent a little bit, but not bent out to the side, because then it'll collapse too easy.
So it's straight, just like Minucci. Minucci is a bit more on the edge. And that's like a Shoman strike or a Yokama strike. So Minucci is the edges forward. The only difference between Minucci, what we're doing now is we're doing the heel of the palm. So I'm rotating my arm so it's flush with the palm, not so much on the edge, on the heel of the palm. But my elbow stays down. So we don't want to lock the joint because that'll lock the shoulder too. And then we can hurt those joints. So it's basically Minucci, but it's the heel of the palm. So go to your center line here. That means you're going to be moving off center line. So your center line was right here. So find a spot either on the wall in front of you or on the computer or even me, my image, and do a palm heel to that spot. So you're developing your accuracy. Okay, so let's start first with just the hands here at your center. Shift the weight and turn the hips. I want to start with this to make sure that we can clean up some things that might be happening. Like maybe I'm coming up. I don't want to come up when I shift the weight. I'll stay nice and low. So that's staying low, keeping our balance low, so we stay grounded and balanced. So we're just working this simple weight shift, a hip turn. And I don't want to lean at the end. Of course, that makes me off balance and open to being hit or grabbed and thrown to the ground. So I want to stay nice and straight, even though I'm shifting the weight. And I don't want that leg to come off the ground for the same reason. So for our practice, we don't come up on the ball of the foot. Some martial arts do, like boxing does, and some types of other martial arts, karate, some types go on the ball of the foot, and some stay on the heel. For us right now, we want to stay on the heel because you can get more stable power. It's more stable. Come up on the ball, it might make you lurch forward. So it's better basic to stay flat foot and use the heel of the foot, not the ball. So that's what we're practicing right now. Those simple basics. Let's see you do this. It's important basic training. Nice and low. Your knees should be bent a bit more, senpai. Take a wider stance. Fatter horse. Knees are bent the whole time. Upper body's nice and straight. So Senpai Odin, take a deeper stance. Bend the knees more. Doesn't have to be wider, probably need to be a little bit wider, but mainly bend those knees more. And then we get a chance to make those legs really strong. Okay, good. You can come up and rest a little bit. Quick review again. We're going to start with palms up at the ribs or at the hips. So it can be here or here, here or here. Those are the choices. And we're going to start with hands open because we're doing an open hand strike. Later on, we will be learning closed hand strikes. From the same dynamics, for example, fist strike, forward punch. So we'll be learning these on another cue level. We'll also be learning vertical fist. Vertical fist. There's vertical fist and horizontal fist. There's vertical fist and horizontal fist. So we'll be learning those in another cue. We learn palm heel strike first because it's the fastest weapon. An open hand strike is the fastest weapon the body has. It's faster than a closed hand strike. It's faster than a fist strike. Open hand strike is very, very fast. And if you use the right place, it's extremely solid. It's even more solid and stable than a fist. Because a fist strike, you have more joints where you could lose the alignment, where it could snap out of place. It could snap out of place this way. It could snap out of place this way. And then you have the knuckles. Your fingers might not be closed very well. So you got fingers that could be snapped, dislocated, because all the joints here. Palm heel strike, you don't have to worry about the finger joints. And if you hit it in the right place, you don't have to worry about the wrist. But with a fist strike, you have all those things you have to get exactly right, or you can hurt the wrist or finger joints. Palm heel strike, you don't have to worry about any of those things as long as you hit at the base of the palm. As you know, if you hit higher up, then chances are you might hurt the wrist. Okay, so let's just work on, you come a little bit closer to the screen. I want to see your hands at the end of the strike. Quick review. Thumbs are in, right? But not in front, because then you're smash the thumb, right? But we also don't want the thumb there, Siler, finally. We don't want the thumbs out here because they can get caught on clothing, on the edge of their body, and you can actually tear a muscle in the thumb or dislocate the thumb. So we don't want the thumbs hanging out in space where they can get caught on something, but we don't want it in front because then you might hit your own thumb. So it's right on the side. Then, as you know, because this is a review, right? Fingers can be up like that or bent at that middle knuckle. Either way. So I can have this shape or fingers totally opened up. But it's really important that you're hitting with the bottom, the heel. Now, hit your heels together, palm heels together. So you get a real sense of the part of the hand that you want to use, and you get a sense of how hard it is. So, yeah, let's see it. You can hear that, right? It's solid. And you can feel that it's very tough. It's a very tough, hard area. Good. Now, we're not going to worry about stance for a moment because we're going to focus on the shape of the hands and the arms. So we're going to start palm up at the sides. It's good if you already have your thumb tucked at the sides. So then you don't have to think about it when you send a strike out. So we're not going to worry about weight shift or legs. We're just going to work on placement and position and shape of the arms and hands. So let's see you put one out. So again, that can either be open or bent at the middle joint. Just hold that out so I can see it. That's right, Titus. Odin, that's good. Odin, maybe you can you bring your hand back further? Bend your wrist back further? That's it. That looks good, Siler. I like how Titus is actually turning his body. He's getting extra reach, extra extension. That's really good. And bring it back to the side and send the other one out. Hold it there. Let me have a look at it. Yeah, so Titus is getting a good reach there. All of you are keeping a bend in the elbow. That's really good. And Odin, that looks much better there. That's it, Siler. Now, do a few slow and smooth. You're not using the legs yet. I want to see, what I want to see now is that, watch here. It comes straight out from the ribs. In other words, what we don't want to do is this, where the elbow kind of creeps out, where the elbows kind of flare out. Like everything else, we don't want the elbows out far like that. Whenever we do a strike or a push, we don't want the elbow out because then we'll lose power on contact. On impact, we'll lose power. All the power bleeds out that way. All the power is wasted out there. So when I'm doing this, I don't want to have my elbows go out like that. So what you want is you want the inside of your forearm, it like slides along your ribs, slides along your ribs. And that just makes sure that it's nice and straight. The arm goes out straight, the elbow goes out straight, the elbow doesn't bend outward, it doesn't flare outward. So yeah, so just slide the forearm along the rib. Let's see you do that nice and slow. Go to a good end position. I see you're still keeping a nice good bend in the elbow. That's very good. Yeah, so it slides along the ribs. That keeps the arm and the elbow straight forward. That's what we want all the time, guys. Even when we're trying to get full power and really shifting the weight and turning the hips, we don't want the arm to angle out. Also, we don't want to lean. We don't want to get power by leaning, get power by turning. So that, and if I'm leaning, that gets the arm way away from my body. So you're rotating this way turning the hips, like in all the techniques we do. So slide that forearm along the ribs. Titus, that's looking very, very good. Okay, now you can move back a little bit. Let's use the legs now. Let's use the lower body. We're gonna do it nice and slow like that, but now we're going to employ a good weight shift and a big hip turn. Not going for speed or power yet. We're just now coordinating upper and lower body. So we start in the same place, shifting the weight, turning the hips. So your forearm should still be sliding along your ribs on the way to the strike. Keeping a nice little elbow bend. Remember what part of the hand you're striking with, the very bottom edge, the heel of the palm. And now in your mind, visualize and know that you're striking through a target. So when you go out here, your target shouldn't be there. It should be somewhere here so that you're going past it and through it. I know you guys know that, but we have to remind ourselves to visualize and feel that that's what we're doing. I'm not hitting something out here. I'm hitting something there, and I'm still going through. So in your mind, still train yourself that you're going through something. Keep going a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to bring in another detail. And I've mentioned this to all of you a little bit before, but it's kind of new still. And that's when we want our chin a little bit down. And I mention that because I'm seeing a little bit of this. Watch my face and head. Or, so I'm tilted or up. Now, Siler, since you're right there, can you tell me why I want the chin down a little bit? Since you're right there anyway, can you tell me why I'm saying we have to train ourselves to have the chin down? Okay, there we are. Okay, so can you tell me why I want the chin down a little bit?
Because if your chin is up, you can get like under the chin, and that really hurts.
Yes, if your chin is up, it might be under the chin, you're right, but it could be anywhere on the chin. It could be in the side of the chin, side of the jaw. If your chin is up, if your head is up, it's easier to get hit, and it's easier to get knocked out when you get hit. Also exposes the neck too, right? The neck is more exposed, obviously, as well. So the chin dropped a little bit, protects the neck better, and makes it harder to get knocked out. For example, you probably noticed boxing. You watch boxers, this part here, see? Your chin is like this. Did you ever notice that? Their chin is down. Their chin is down, so they're not like this. And then they don't punch with their head angling somewhere. The chin is tucked, chin is down a little bit to protect the jaw and chin. If you get hit, the easiest way to get knocked out is to be hit on the jaw or the chin. The head can take quite a bit of punishment. The head can be hit pretty hard. But if you get hit in the jaw or the chin, it's much easier to get knocked out. So we protect that jaw and chin by dropping it. So when we're doing palm heel strike, I don't want the chin up like that, or same idea, I don't want the head kind of tilting for the same reason. This is the same for all our techniques too. Let's say I'm doing Ikkyo. If I'm doing Ikkyo, I don't want my head up here, or I don't want to tilt my head. I want basically what we're doing now. It's a little bit dropped, and that keeps the neck straight with the back. My chin is up, my neck is no longer straight. So a little bit drop of the chin actually makes the neck connected to the spine. So it makes the neck more stable. It's safer. Okay, so as we do this a bit more, remember to drop your chin a little bit, or we might say tuck the chin a little bit. Not a lot, just a bit. We want to make sure we're not up and not tilted. So it's almost like you're doing a roll, right? So nice and slow, guys. Nice wide stance. So you're using those legs a lot. And I'm looking for a nice straight strike with the elbow pointing straight down and forward, not out. Rub along the ribs to send it out. And I'm also looking for a nice alignment of the head, which means the chin is not up. If anything, it's a little bit down. That's working good. That looks a lot better. Except, guys, I'm not seeing a weight shift anymore. You're staying nice and straight with your chin and your head, but I'm not seeing a weight shift. So let's get into a nice deep horse stance and see that weight shift and hip turn. There we go. So Siler, that's way, way better. Yeah, Titus, drop your chin a little bit more. And Odin, drop your chin a bit more. Odin, let's see more of a weight shift. You should be crossing the room with your weight shift. Silo, that's looking better and better. Very nice. Titus, that's looking better and better. Okay. Now, we're going to go harder and faster. You can build up the full power and full speed. And we're going to pull it back now. Now we're going to pull it all the way back here. Now this is actually when we throw it out, we're not going to pull it all the way back here. We're just going to snap it back a little bit. So here and back a bit and place it back here. So we want to go past the target and snap it back. Okay, who can tell me why we snap it back?
Because if you keep your hand out there, they can just like, they can do anything instead of, but if you're like this, they can't really hit you.
Right, they might grab it and then they'll use it to throw you down or use it to get closer to you. So you strike and bring it back so they can't catch it. And the faster you bring it back, the sharper, harder strike it is. As long as you go through the target first before you snap it back. So I'll do a couple to illustrate and you can just watch. I'm just going to go a little harder, a little faster, not full speed yet. And the key is, again, the lower body. Now I'll show you from the side so you can see it come back. Okay, so we'll do this together on the count. Slow, methodical counting. So you're going to snap it out, snap it back, and then bring it back so you're ready for the next power punch, power strike. Okay, let's start with the left side. Then the right, left, right, left, right. Each. Use the legs and hips. Knee. Breathe out, of course. San. Shi. Go. Roke. Okay, it's looking pretty good, guys. Okay, now we're going to count a little bit faster. Okay, ready? Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roke. Siege. Hutch. Ku. Ju. Okay, good work. Now you guys, you can check with your parents and see if there's something you can use for a focus mitt. I know you guys have the rebreakable boards. So if you ask your parents, you could work with those, or ask your parents if there is like a pillows you can set up and hold, if you can practice striking through a target. But check with your parents first and make sure they know that you're doing it, okay? And it's okay, and what you're using is okay.
We have a punching dummy.
Fantastic. Does it move like this or what?
Yeah. So like when you hit it, it goes like back and forth.
It falls down, comes back up?
Yeah,
Or-
kind of just it kind of wobbles. Like if you hit it, then it goes.
Good, good. Those are fun. Those are fun. So you know what, guys? When you do something like that, that's kind of a lot of fun. You got to make sure you don't lose your form, right? Because once you start having fun and you go for it, look what starts to happen. You kind of go wild. Like when we play games, we kind of go wild and our form goes out the window. So when you're working with something like that, have fun with it, but make sure you're doing good training. Notice when you're losing some things or forgetting some things, okay? So check with your parents and see when you can work with that punching dummy and or rebreakable boards. Okay, now do the same strike from a hanmi. Okay, so we'll be in a ready stance, hanmi no kamae. And we're going to do the lead hand strike. In boxing, it's called a jab. So right now, we're not going to do any footwork. That's the next level. Here, we're just getting out of the training stance into an actual ready stance. And now, as you know, we're going to take more of a boxing position because we don't want to really be in this situation. This is just for training to emphasize the hips. So we want to be protecting ourselves. So quick review. We want the hands protecting the jaw. The elbows are protecting the ribs and stomach. So I can protect the stomach. I can protect the jaw and the chin. So here I'm not really protecting the face, head, or jaw. Maybe I'm protecting my midsection, but not the head. If I'm up here, protecting my head, but my stomach and ribs are exposed. So basic karate stance or basic boxing position gives the best chance of protecting the most area. Different styles have slight differences. Some styles of martial arts might be way out here. Other styles might be in really close. So those are all different ways. So in general, we're kind of in the middle, not too in close, not too out there. It's less than Minucci. It's not quite Minucci. It's a little less than that. Let's see your ready stance. Let me have a look at it. Yeah, chin down a little bit. Good. So Titus, that's in a little bit too tight. That's okay if you are just defending yourself and they're really punching at you and getting to you. For a second or two, you might have to close right up into a shell. You might have to close right up into a shell if they're, on you real fast. Of course, you don't want to stay there. You want to get out of there and back into a better position. So that was a little bit tight unless you're being purely defensive. So out here, it's too far, too tight, right in the middle. If you want, you can keep this backhand closer to the jaw, protecting the jaw from a roundhouse punch or yokomen strike. You'll be close to the jaw, other one's out a little bit. So anywhere from here to here. That's one of the reasons why we don't want to have, for us, too far out there. Some people have this, but if they get through this, they can come to the jaw and head real easy. So you want to protect that head and jaw a little bit more. So Titus, that's looking much better. It looks pretty good. I'm still looking for Odin. Let's see. Let's see Odin. Siler, good. Okay, guys, now turn sideways to the camera so I can see you from the side. So Siler, that looks very good. And Odin, that looks pretty good. Yeah, Titus, good. Now face the camera again and switch to the other side. Because we want to work both sides. That's looking good. Now turn sideways to the camera. Good job, guys. That's looking good. Okay. So illustrate, we're going to do palm heel strike with the lead hand. And that's just going to be a weight shift and hip turn. We're not going to move yet. So that'll look like this. I can do it in slow motion, covering myself. I turn my hips and come back. I turn my hips for the extension, not locking the elbow. Elbow's not out. Down and forward. I go through the target, past the target, back. So let's do that together in slow motion. So I can have a look. Okay, ready? Nice and slow. Work on everything, including hand shape. Each and back. Knee. San. Turn the hips. Still got to use the hips and legs. Shi. Go. Tuck the chin. Rope. Siege. Hutch. Good, good. Titus, good. You're keeping your chin tucked a bit. That's really good. Switch stance. Nice and slow like that. Ready? Use the hip still. Each and cover. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roke. Siege. Hatch. Make sure your mind is on the part that you're using. So you're not just hitting with your hand. It's the very bottom. Okay, back to the other side again. We're going to go a little harder and sharper, so it'll look something like this. Still straight and back. Here we go. Ready? Each. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roke. Siege. Hutch. So Odin, make sure you have a full shape. Your hand looks a little bit closed. Palm heel. Other hanmi. Here we go. So a little faster and sharper, just like the last side. Ready? Each. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roke. Siege. Hatch. Titus, that's looking really crisp. Titus, you're reminding me back at the school, the great job you're doing on the mat against the wall. You just reminded me of how sharp, fast, crisp, and sharp your strikes were and are. So I'm seeing that again. Very, very nice, tight, clear shape. Very nice, fast, crisp strike. Very, very nice. Okay. Now, the backhand strike. So let's take a stance. Ready, stance. And by the way, Hami no Kamai means a half stance, not like this. Half. And it's the same in boxing. You're turned a little bit, not like this. You turned a bit. Okay, guys. Who can tell me why we're turned a little bit in a ready stance, whether it's in Aikido or boxing, why we're turned?
Because if you're facing directly forward, you're more open and you have less balance.
You're more open and there's more surface area to hit. I turn part way, I turn a little bit there's less area to hit. It's like if you have to squeeze through a really tight hallway, really tight corridor, you can't go through like this. Bang, you get hit by the walls. You have to go sideways to slide through. Same reason. So if I'm here, they have bigger targets. Turn sideways, the target's not as big. Okay, so Hamino Kamai, make sure that weighs a little bit forward. We're going to do the backhand, so the front hand stays at the jaw. Start slow to make sure everything is good. Each, ni, san, full extension without locking the elbow. Shi, go, turn the hips. Rok, sich, hach. Okay, switch hanmi. Slow and smooth on the other side. Cover, each. See how my hips are turning very strongly, very big. Ni, san. Make sure your target's really good, right in front of your center line. Shi, go, rok, sich, hach. So Odin, I want you to bend the knees a bit more, lower weight, lower center of gravity. Switch sides, faster, sharper. Doesn't have to be full speed, full power, but faster and sharper. And we make sure that we snap it back. Out, back. Here we go. Nice slow stance. Each, knee. Very sharp, Titus, very good. San, shi, go, rok, sich. Odin, turn those hips more. Sich, hutch. Good, other side. Nice and crisp, sharp there and back. Here we go, ready. Each, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hutch. Good, very nice. Okay, let's wind down. Let's have actually a little bit of a wide stance, a light horse stance. Shift the weight and turn the hips for a little light arm swing to wind down. Breathe into the abdomen. And just relax those arms and shoulders. We use them quite a bit. So we're just winding down those arms and shoulders. Relaxing the abdomen and hips. Good. Now let's do forward swings. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down. Come up on my toes, flat foot. So these are vertical arm swings. Still just relaxing those arms and shoulders. Good. Letting the arms slowly hang as you breathe into the abdomen. Knees unlocked. Rest your hands below the belly button, right at your center. Breathe in, expand everything. Breathe out, settle back to home base. Home base is your center, below the belly button. Breathe in, open, expand. Breathe out, settle back. Okay, this time keep your hands here at your center. Breathe in deep through the nose. Feel your belly expand. Breathe out through your mouth. Let your hands drop with gravity and swing just a little bit as you breathe into the abdomen. Okay, senpai, let's bow out. Domo arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Good work, Senpai. We'll see you next time.